Good morning, good evening, afternoon, nighttime, whatever it is, wherever you're watching. I'm Ralphie the Drunk, and I'm your favorite barroom psychiatrist. Before we get started today, we would like to thank Kitty Cat Figures. No, that's not right. Hold on. Kitty Cat. Karen Figures! She is one of her YouTube channels where she talks about comic books, and she's a member of that comic core thing. Yeah, so definitely go check that out. I guess I don't know. So yeah, cat rabbit, not kitty cat figures. That's where I'm going tonight. All right. She made the brilliant suggestion that we break down something with the Titans. Da, 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 da. But as I started going through all the Titans material, it got very convoluted. There's all kinds of Titans out there. There's the Greek mythology, which was not very interesting at all. But there's also the Titans Rebirth, the Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go! And we got a live show that seems to be missing the most interesting character. I don't know why that is. Oh, and it's all just a basket full of crazy. You shouldn't say crazy in psychiatrist. So pull up a stool, and we're going to talk a little bit about when this really got interesting, preferably a bar stool. Also, kudo points if you're watching this in a bar while you're drinking, because that's awesome. I like you. All right. What we're going to ultimately do is we're going to break this down to the basis of psychology, to the turning point, if you will. It's me trying to sound more intelligent than I am. But really, we're going to go with the new Teen Titans issue that came out in November 1980. This is a number one issue, so rush out and get it. It's going to be millions. Okay, it's probably not. But anyway, so if you're not familiar with these particular characters, some interesting facts here. This is the one that has Robin, who later becomes Nightwing. I think that's the name of Batman's plane, isn't it? This is the Nightwing. I know the Batwing from Waiters. That's where you take your thingy and that's a horrible thing. We also have Beast Batboy. He could be, I guess. We have Beast Boy, who later becomes Changeling and then comes back to Beast Boy. There's a whole thing on identity crisis there we could talk about. We have Man and Machine, the Cyborg. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. And for some reason, he's not in the live show. I mean, brother can't catch a break. That's horrible. We also have our favorite alien model, and very provocatively dressed in most cases, Starfire. Oh, love me some Starfire. And then we got the 90s emo girl herself, Raven, that Wiccan girl back in high school that sat all by herself. Well, she didn't sit by herself. She just kind of loomed around everybody else, but told everybody she wanted to be alone. Yep, that's Raven. That's so Raven. All right, so moving on. Also in this particular series, we had Kid Flash and Wonder Girl as well, but nobody really cares about them because they're just cheap knockoffs of their counterparts. So who cares? All right. The first thing we need to talk about when we talk about the Teen Titans is that, well, they're horribly insane. But do you know why? No, that's why you're watching this show. Well, there's this little thing called Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. It's really quite interesting. I highly getting on the old Google box there and checking it out sometime. Basically, what we're talking about when we say this, it's basically a motivational theory, if you will. All it really is basically it says if you work out these kind of baseline things in your life, then self-actualization, you'll truly be happy. So it starts with the philosophical, starts with your baseline needs, right? Food, water, warmth, like heat warmth, not like the passionate thralls of a girl you met at 2:00 in the morning, because that's just horrible. And I hope she leaves soon. She's still asleep. Moving on. The next tier would be that their safety needs, like security, a roof over your head, walls to protect yourself, maybe some baseline instruments to use. Next is belongingness or love needs, intimacy, relationship, family, and friends. This is ultimately where the Teen Titans kind of start jacking stuff up. Allow me to explain. Oh, let me finish the chart. All right, so then you got esteem needs, prestige, feeling of accomplishment. You need some victories and failures in your life to kind of shape you out. And then ultimately you get to self actualization, basically achieving one's full potential, including creative activity. So at some point in your life, you should be well enough in your job that you can take on other interests like comic book collecting or starting a YouTube show half lit. So the problem with this hierarchy in the Teen Titans is they kind of skipped over two of them, didn't they? This whole warmth, food, shelter was pretty much given to them. They didn't really earn it, nor have they struggled to get it. And as far as the safety concerns go, again, they're superpowered to some degree. Well, with the exception of Robin. They skipped because they separated from their families. Robin didn't want to be with Batman anymore because, hanging out with a rich guy that can buy you anything, that's some real douchebag stuff there. Screamers, Wayne. Whatever. Beast Boy left Doom Patrol. We're not really clear on the whys on that, but that was kind of his family before. Stargirl literally was sold into slavery. Yeah, by her sister. There's some fan like debacle there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this is a horrible situation. And apparently it's even been hinted at in later issues in Titans that she was probably a sex slave at some of the points. So that's, poor girl. We have Cyborg, who, because of his shame, feels that he needs to be a loner. He's actually shameful of his appearance. And he kind of stepped away from, society as a whole, but can't but take the call of being a hero. Da, 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 da. And then the saddest one of them all, but the most predictable, is of course that She's So Raven girl. So her dad wants to take over the multiverse and destroy it all because he's a demon. Yep. So she wants to separate from her father because she's not evil, or she doesn't think she's evil, or she's constantly in this struggle where she thinks she's evil. In other words, she's your typical confused teenager. So she bypasses all that, convinces herself that she needs to be a loner, but she's also responsible in some cases for forming the Teen Titans and being around them, but keeping them at arm's length because teenage girls are the worst. They really are. So let's break down each one of these characters and really dive inside of this and find out why the narrative of their characters is very important. First, you have the Lone Warrior. By the way, they're all loners that need to be together. I'll go ahead and spoil the ending for you now so you're not bored. So let's start with Robin. Robin being the lone ninja warrior, the one that has the glue that holds the team together, the one with a plan. He's basically a knockoff of Batman. Yeah. Unfortunately. So it doesn't make for an interesting character, but we do need some sort of leader that kind of holds everybody together. Next, we do Beast Boy. He's the Joker, the rogue scallion of the group. He's constantly flirtatious and constantly has problems with keeping his natural state in order, meaning that he's a representation of nature in this, which is interesting. In good narrative stories, you kind of need something that's close to the earth, and what's more that than somebody can turn into a tiger. In some adaptations of him, he was also known as a vegetarian. I always found this funny because he would turn into a tiger and maul people and then eat a carrot. I don't know, that's weird. So then we move on to his best buddy in most cases, especially in the Teen Titans TV show, Booyah himself, Cyborg. And he represents the things that man can make and man can learn. He's technology. Ever the Joker with him as well, being the Scallion, hanging out with Beast Boy. Mostly I'm speaking to the Teen Titans TV show in this, but even in the comic book, there was always a special bond between Beast Boy and Cyborg being best friends. And I always found that interesting. In most cases, they would be enemies, given the negative of each other. Anyway, who cares? Nobody cares about that. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to that Starfire girl. Oh, yeah, there's the nice one. She's a princess, and of course, she's from an alien world. This makes sense. Her primary responsibility in any story that you see is she kind of questions normal society of the whys. So, okay, we all cheers before we drink, right? I want you to think of it that way. All right, so our little Starfire lassie there, she'd come in there and she'd like, why are y'all crashing glasses together? That's horrible. It makes a lot of noise. And you're like, well, I don't know. It's just what we do. It's the norm. And she's like, huh, that's very interesting. Wouldn't it just make more sense to drink it? You could drink it faster. And then I would say, oh my God, if I like it, I'm going to put a ring on it. So, yeah, her main purpose is to question the norms of why we do the things that we do and offer simplistic, naive answers to things. She's somewhat naive in most cases, not because she's mentally deficient, but because she's out of culture and doesn't understand the society and finds that people have a hard time explaining it. That was a lot to say. Let's move on to the easy one. The next one is Raven. Right, we pretty much already talked about this one. She's the emo chick from high school with daddy issues. That's pretty much it. Although they are legitimate issues. He's a bad guy. He's a demon. And he wants to take over the multiverse and destroy everything because he's a jerk. Apparently, he's never had the finer points of it in this bar night of drinking and passing out and trying to shoot pool, getting into a fight, and then going back into the bar across the street. It's a good night. So there you have it, your Teen Titans and everything that they engulf. The Teen Titans will always have a special narrative story to tell. Because they kind of skipped everything in Maslow's hierarchy, they can discuss social issues through all their platforms, which has often been the case. Everything from Nightwing or Batwing or whatever he wants to call himself being sexually assaulted to Starfire being promiscuous and acting like the bicycle for the village. Everybody gets a turn. It's been weird. I don't quite understand this, but I do find that they're an interesting group of kids. And I hope that we can do more. Even with the monstrosity that they've made today, I read like 2 issues of this and I was like, nope, my favorite people aren't in it. So I hope this was okay. I hope you all enjoy it. I know it was a little different than the normal, but hey, things happen. Hey, do you have any suggestions of people we can talk about on this show? Please comment down below. I would love to look them up through the dozens of long boxes. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Pocan Joe seems to think that those things are important. Also, if you disagree with anything we said, please comment down below. Pocan Joe's got to deal with that. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I got a brand new bottle I need to pop the cork off of and celebrate. What am I celebrating, you may ask? I'm celebrating to celebrate. All right, guys. Bye.